Hello and good evening. I am here. I'm exhausted, but I just had to say a few things. I'm going to tag a few people in. It is Tuesday evening after the Labor Day weekend, and back to work today. Oh my gosh. And of course, I was swamped all day long trying to get some things done. I'm trying to really chill out and relax, and that's why I'm just laying back here. But just a couple things I wanted to talk to you about. First of all, I found this great Finnish article, and I think I shared it with you. I'm not sure. I had to pay for it. It was there's a great website on medical research. There's an article out of Finland about the results of children being from abusive situations, and whether or not the results are better if they are left at home or if they are put in foster care. It's a really great article. Just came out in 2018. So that's enough for now. If y'all share it, let me see. I got one more thing here. Gotta look for Miss Wendy. She's always like, you have to find me. Specifically, don't find her, so I hope she's on here. Okay. A couple things coming up. I am heading to D.C. on Saturday evening, going to be there for several days, and thanks to Kathleen Arthur, we have several meetings set up already. We had a Washington, D.C. convoy that went in the end of July 30th. Let's see, Terry LaPointe, Marissa Hamilton, Kathleen Arthur, Whitney Manning, Sarah Carter was going to go. I don't know that she made it. I just could not go. I had a trial set that day, so I was not able to go. However, they did meet with the legislation that is looking at the application of the Families First Services and Prevention Act, which of course we know it's all zero. There's nothing. So for those of you who are new, and who, by the way, I want to tell you this today, we had 93 new member requests. 93. And let me tell you how I'm doing that and getting new members to come in is that most of our lives, I'm able to download them to my phone, and then I upload them to YouTube, and I tag the keywords like CPS corruption, they stole my kids, ban ASFA, DCS, Tennessee DCS. And I've had many people contact me or let me know that they have found us through our YouTube. I'm also doing on Twitter. I don't have a Family Forward account set up on Twitter, but I do have a personal Twitter. And so I've been sharing a lot of our stuff on Twitter, and I've been sharing it on Instagram. I'm just getting so tech savvy here. So we have, so I'm working really hard to get new members. So coming up, so Saturday I leave for DC. I am really looking forward to it. I know we've struggled for the past 4 years. I think this is my 4th trip up there. We've had different things we've tried to do. We've tried a march. We had a nice group for a march. I think that was 2017. We've tried to do some other meetings. Last year we had a meeting. There was all this aggravation and chaos about who's doing it and who's sponsoring it, and I'm just so over that. So I'm going up for the program specifically that we are meeting with some senators and Congress people. I believe there's an event on Sunday. I'm going to go. I'm going to take my banner. I'm going to have my banner there. And somebody said, well, if you're going to have your banner, other people need to be able to hang signs off your banner. I don't know what that's all about, but you know what? If you want a banner, go buy a banner. It's like $40, okay? I've got some great banners. I have about 5 of them that all say, stop separating American families. I really like that tagline, so that's the one I'm going to stick with. Let me tell you a couple other things. Number one, I know many of you folks have been faced with orders to investigate, which compel the parents to produce their children for inspection before there's even a probable cause finding. I hate these orders. I hate them. I've seen a judge. I had a case a couple years ago that there was an investigation a petition, and the people, before I knew about it, the parents didn't show up. And instead of just ordering the investigation, the judge ordered the removal of their children without even a probable cause hearing. I hate these. I think they are so unconstitutional. So I was in court last Friday on August the 30th against DCS here in Tennessee, excuse me. And I'm challenging the jurisdiction and on the constitutionality of these. And so the judge, somebody I knew him when he was a lawyer. I had a few cases with him. He's an okay guy, and he really kind of struggled. So many of these courts just really struggle to support the state. And so he entered an order supporting the state. We're going to take on appeal. But essentially, by the time you get down what he said in an order, it really shows that there are true jurisdictional and constitutional issues. So I am kind of looking forward to that appeal. Although this briefing stuff is just driving me crazy. It just makes my head burst, because there's so much going on. I'm also facing a challenge on the guardian ad litem. I have a federal lawsuit in which a guardian ad litem is named. Very, very, very tough to do from a state level. There is state statutory immunity, which I think is probably unconstitutional to do. But there is also some case law that talks about guardian ad litems being not only not being state actors, which prevents them from being sued in a civil rights case, but also that they have this immunity. So in most of the cases, however, they are cases in which the parents are suing, naming the guardian ad litem for either failure to investigate, etc. So in this particular case, I also have the child names as the plaintiff. And so I have found a case from like 1984 where there was a guardian appointed and they had the power to control the ward, which would be the child in our case, and they were allowed to sue them under a 1983 civil rights action. So I have that I'm facing. So I had gotten a new contact on last Thursday, I think it was, from somebody in Cumberland County, Tennessee, been harassed by DCS over and over and over. I was able to, they wanted to come and investigate her one more time. And so I was able to contact them and schedule them to come to the house because, sometimes there's just the limited ability to be able to fight them. And honest to God, these ex parte orders are they're horrible and they're demonic. But once you get caught up in an ex parte order, it's so hard to get out of it. So I had told her, I said, look, I'll get it scheduled. I'll be on the phone. And while they walk through your house, I'll be on the phone. And so I called back DCS. We set it up. They showed up today an hour and a half late. And it's really interesting because not only was the investigator there, but the investigator's supervisor was there. And so they came, and of course, all they will say is drug exposed child. They won't tell you the allegations, which they are required by statute to do. And I say, if you want to follow the law and follow the statute, then follow it. And you need to tell us the allegations. But anyway, they came to the door. I said, well, just go ahead and let them just kind of see the house, see the kid. And then they started asking her questions about, well, you take a drug test? Did you ever use meth? Blah, blah. I'm like, no, I don't think we need to go there. And drug test, no, I mean, nah, she's not going to do that. And so they walked through, they took a look at it and left. But it was two of them. And I'm like, what's your names? Who are you? Why are you there? Etc. So we were able to, now I don't know what's going to turn out, but I have everything on recording. Oh, I also got in today. I'm going to test them out here. Once I get them charged up, I got a new body cam. I'm so excited about having a body cam. I just think, I've been recording everything that goes on in the courthouse for 10 years. I started carrying a recorder around back in 2009 because a judge in open court asked me if I was just trying to be a jerk. And then he had amnesia. He had localized amnesia later when I confronted him with the fact that in open court he'd call me me a jerk when I asked for something my client was legally entitled to. So I started carrying a recorder because I was not going to let that happen again. I'm well known. Judges have said, well, she records everything. So I'm well known for recording. Now I've got a body cam. So this is going to be really interesting. Got to test it out, all this technology. I have clients who have pins and cameras and keychains and, just all kinds of stuff where we're trying to keep things recorded. It makes such a big difference. So I want to go back to this investigative orders, because one of the things is like they require that a child be able to be taken outside of the presence of the parents, even the non-offending parent. And I said that is totally unconstitutional to deny a non-offending parent who you don't even have an allegation against to be present when their child is interviewed by a government party. So we're just going to rock on that horse. We're going to see where it's going to go. All right, now, okay, so DC. So after DC, I am going to Sacramento, California, October 4th. It's going to be, thank you, Kathy Lester and everybody else who's working that out. And Kathy's going to help me get it worked out. I'm going to get in really, really, really late on Thursday night. And then I'm going to the rally, I believe, is 12 to 5. I will be there early on Friday morning, and then I'm going to have to scoot my booty out of there by like 2 o'clock, because on Saturday, October the 5th, we have an event in Birmingham, Alabama. So if you are anywhere close to Sacramento, California, or if you are anywhere close to Birmingham, Alabama, the weekend of October 4th and 5th is a must-do, all right? October the 10th, 11th, 12th, I'm heading to Atlanta to the National Federation of Republican Assemblies. I'm on the board. I'm a board member there. I got the Republican Assembly to pass a resolution related to the reform of child welfare a couple years ago. It's kind of just a nodder for them. They're not really doing a whole lot about it, but at least I've got that presence in their list of resolutions and in their list of their policies. Platform, and they send their platform to Republican candidates and then try to get them to adopt their platform. So we've done all that. Let me see. Let me tell you what else is going on. I'm just like, I've got a bunch of briefing I've got to do. It's so crazy. I am watching, I think I've told you all before, I am on a listserv that is out of the American Bar Association, and I know a lot of you have this like, I hate lawyers, but I'm going to tell you guys, they're the ones who are the most educated on what's going on. I'm going to put you on camera if you don't leave my room. I've got a visitor here. Get out of here. So I can't even have 25 minutes peace. So the American Bar Association has a listserv for parent representation. They're passing around a lot of good information. Some of it is old news, some of it's new news. I did post an op-ed that was put together by somebody who's part of that listserv in the Washington Post about, and it was more of kind of a racial side of our more black children being placed in foster care. So honestly, if you look at the stats, it's the percentage between black and white children taken is the same as far as the children in foster care. I don't know if there's a difference in the population, so it might be a little bit more, but it's really honestly about poverty. It's about poverty and lower education, and those are the people who are really, really, really attacked. So we've got to redo this. This is ridiculous. This social engineering that the government is doing by taking children out of the homes of the poor and oppressed, and, maybe not, they don't have a bachelor's degree. So, there's a lot of loving, wonderful parents out there. So it is really about that. So again, I did just post, I got all the letters scanned in, plus I've got about 40 pages of articles on, I'm going to put the Finland article in there. I've got some articles on some lawsuits. I've got some articles on some fatalities of children in foster care. So I thought it was real important for me to add that to the book. This is not going to be cheap. I've got Sarah Carter and her associates and friends and colleagues put together an awesome cover for the book that's got a huge collage of pictures. It's going to look so great. I've got to do a little intro letter that I'm going to put on the front of it, but it's 327 pages long. Ooh. So what I was hoping was to be able to represent each state. I think I have almost every state now. I'm not sure. There's a few letters. There's a couple letters that you didn't put your state on it. I looked and looked and looked through the letter to find clues of maybe to find what state or phone numbers. Sometimes I looked up a phone number to see what state it was. There's a couple that didn't get in there because I didn't have a state ID, and the critical point of this is to be able to show legal representatives that we have every state that's involved. So there's a couple that didn't get in. I think there were a couple really late. Y'all made a real challenge for me because it was on all kinds of pieces of paper. It was on notebook paper. It was on like paper that was like thick and rough. People wrote on both sides. They thought one page meant that they could write in like tiny, tiny, tiny print on both sides of the paper. So I did a lot of, I used a lot of them. I mean, like I said, 327 pages. It's huge. It's beautiful. Thank you so much. Some are handwritten, some are typed. I can't get in all the photographs because I cannot afford for color copies. So black and white copies for the letters. Let's see. We had a great messaging conversation last night with Joe Churchwell, attorney in Arkansas, who's working his booty off. He totally gets it. He's got federal lawsuits filed himself. He's sharing everything that he's doing with me. I'm sharing stuff that I'm doing with him. So that we can get down to these issues. And, I often say that criminals have more rights than parents, and they do partly because so many of these issues have been raised in federal court. And that's the one thing we're just going to have to do. We have to get all these issues raised in federal court so that we can create a profile. Now, that's not the only thing that's going to fix it because, look, there's been lawsuits for prisoners and criminal defendants for 50 years, and that's still not fixed. There's still malicious prosecution. There's still police brutality. There's still police negligent investigation, but at least they have some parameters. So we have to do the same thing with parents' rights, and I know it's unbelievable to me that here we are in America, and that's what we have to fight for, our own rights as parents. So again, everybody, Family Forward Project is being watched on Facebook. We have DCS workers watching it, seeing what's going on, scanning it to see if I do a live. They're just waiting for me to say something that they can come after me for, seriously. So, and for those of you who know, I know we have a lot of new members, but I got arrested in July. The next court date's going to be in November. We have some motions prepared and planned that we're going to be filing for that, and that's going to be really interesting. So for people in Tennessee who want to show up for that, or even if you're not in Tennessee, we may just have a little rally and party around that. That'll be kind of fun. They'll get all anxious about that because when they arrested me, they got really all anxious that said I was making it a dog and pony show because I wanted to put it on live and talk to people about the arrest in front of the police department. All right, so I'm working on a couple other things I cannot tell you about now because I promised the people I would not say it. But I got stuff going on all the time, guys, and I am working too. So anyway, that's kind of an update, and y'all take care. Love you. Please keep telling your stories. The real stories are so good. Also want to tell you, although we've got lots of new members coming in, we can't go through and vet every single member. And some people are like, oh, they're trolls. Flag and report posts. We as admins got a handful of admins, and we'll look at them. And if somebody is just in Family Forward to just be ugly or nasty or say something stupid like, oh, if you parents would be better parents, you wouldn't lose your kids. I'm looking at a few things here. Oh, yeah. Thank you for all your comments. So, whenever somebody just talks ugly about that, because look, we are a group for child welfare reform. You may think foster care and child welfare is like perfection already. You just don't need to be here, okay? Because I know it's broken. I've been doing this 25 years. I know how broken it is. Nancy Schaefer lost her life, talking about how broken it was. So we cannot stop talking about it. Okay. All right, y'all. You all have a good evening. Time for me to get some rest because I got big briefs I've got to write, and they require so much brain power. It's just taxing. Okay, love y'all. Talk to you later. Have a good evening. Bye bye.